Welcome back to KHS Cougar News. I'm Samara.
And I'm Zachary, bringing you this week's upcoming news.
Time for the usual reminders. Make sure to wear your ID and have your laptop charged and ready every day.
Kepner PTO is having a donation drive for Cougar Cove that ends this Friday.
This week is Red Ribbon Week. Participate in hashtag Say No to Drugs by dressing up. Tomorrow is dress up as a superhero, and remember, no mask.
Reminder that there's no school Friday this week, so enjoy a 3-day weekend.
Last weekend, history was made as Span won 6th place, making state. Next week, they'll be in San Antonio, Texas, performing at the Alamodome. Great job, guys.
If you're a senior, make sure to buy the senior package. Buying this package can get you one prom ticket, one ticket to senior trip, including meal and transportation, a yearbook, and a senior class t-shirt. The first 100 orders will receive a 10x32 print of the senior class panoramic photo and a 5x15 of the Fun Post panoramic photo.
You must complete the senior package agreement for your pricing to be considered locked, so make sure to purchase your senior package on RedTrack due October 31st for payment plans.
Is you or your friend's birthday coming up? Then you should surprise them by featuring them on KHS News. Scan the flyer with a present on it that can be seen in the hallways and submit a name and even a picture if you want.
Time for some news.
McDonald's announced Sunday that their Quarter Pounders will be on its menu again at hundreds of restaurants after testing that ruled out that beef patties are the source of the outbreak of E. coli, poisoning tied to the popular burger that killed one person and sickened at least 75 others across 13 states. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration continues to believe that silvered onions from a single supplier at the source of its contamination, McDonald's said in an interview. It said that they will resume selling Quarter Pounders in affected restaurants without silvered onions in the coming weeks. The Department of Agriculture received multiple lots of fresh and frozen beef patties collected from various Colorado McDonald's locations associated with the E. coli investigation, but all samples were found to be negative for E. coli. Election Day is less than 10 days away. Here's a reminder that if you're able to vote, make sure to do so. With Halloween being tomorrow, make sure to stay safe. Make sure to look both ways before crossing into neighborhoods, stay with crowds, and even if it seems dramatic, make sure to check your candy for any openings. And if it is open, throw it away. And that's all for news.
We know study habits are important, but how important are they after high school?
Hey Cougs, one of the most beneficial things that you can do for yourself in your high school career is build good study habits. These study habits can transfer to college and build success in college and after college. The college students we asked gave tips.
What study habits did you have in high school that you still have in college?
I still use the same study habits. So a lot of what I did was flashcards. I used to write them physically, but now the easiest way is just to do it on Quizlet. They have the option to just do the flashcards. And another thing I still do is look over my notes. I like to reread them over and over again, like as many times as I can. And I also like to use colored pens to color coordinate everything and colored highlighters to mark what's important.
So a study habit I still carry on to this day is doing my assigned homework and studying as early as possible from when it is assigned. Like completing it within 1 to 2 days, depending on how intense the assignment may be. This helps me to think early on what the assignment is all about, because if I do not have a great understanding of it, I'm able to reflect on what I'm learning as the week goes on, and then I can go back and edit my notes or my assignment. It has a more elaborated thinking of what I put down initially. I would say I'm more of an experimental learner, so this greatly helps me to feel motivated to do my studying and assignments.
I think like the one study habit that I still have. Well, first I have to say that like I didn't really have that many study habits. It's something that I really regret coming into college. But I think one thing is just like studying around people, like studying with other people, because I feel like not studying around other people, I wouldn't hold myself accountable. But like when you're working with other people, you kind of see them working and you feel like the need to work too. So I think that's something that I definitely bring into college because I still work with a bunch of people.
Okay.
If you could give any study tips, what would it be and how would it help you?
My favorite study tips were just the flashcards. I find that it helped me a lot. And also a lot of my friends, it helped them. I would tell them like just make the Quizlet flashcards. Like that's the easiest way you can study, just by memorization. And also taking good notes. I know a lot of people now, they have their computer and they like to do it like online because it's easier. But I find that when you actually write it, you're actually paying attention to what you're doing and it helps you memorize it much more easier.
So to elaborate on my first answer,
Hmm.
a steady tip I would give is to um kind of study as early as possible. It doesn't have to be so intense since um our memory kind of can't hold it all together, and then you need to kind of study throughout the week. But I think studying as early as possible will help you give a um foundation of what you're learning at the moment. And then based on what you're learning in class or your maybe everyday experience, you can figure out ways to better understand what you're learning.
A study tip I would give is to because when you go into college, you usually are going to do prerequisite classes and they can be pretty boring.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a study habit that's really good to have or like start having in high school would be to kind of have that learning mindset and have that mindset to really just sit down and be able to study even if you think it's boring. Because personally, I haven't done good on my test because I haven't paid attention,
Mm-hmm.
but really kind of need to get into that mindset or like start developing like kind of just liking to learn, not even liking to learn, but just being open to learning even when you don't technically find an interest because it's still going to help you in the end because you still have to pay attention in these classes and get good grades. So I think that's definitely one study habit I would try to keep or I would want now. Yeah.
In your opinion, why is it so important to develop good study habits in high school before you enter college?
Um, I think that's because in high school you still I feel like you still have time to practice a lot of different ones and get to know what you like. Because once you're in college, it's like I feel like you have to know what works for you. And even if you don't, I mean that's okay, but it would be best because the tests in college, I feel like they're really different. There's a lot more information. It's a lot. You have like a lot of people have 5 classes, and sometimes you have all your tests on the same week. And it's easier if you just know how to study and if you know what works for you, so you're not struggling.
Um,
If
so in my opinion, why it is important to develop your studying habits now while you're in high school is because moving on to college, it is such a stressful and emotional changing transition period. So while maybe some classes in college are not actually as stressful as they may seem, I think if you don't already have a studying routine, um, just having to adapt to it emotionally will feel stressful. Seeing that you don't have the peers that you see every day normally when you go on into college. So, by already establishing a study routine now, you're able to adapt every day to your college classes.
Because really the transition from high school to college is pretty drastic. I didn't think that like when my upperclassmen told me that it would be like pretty big learning curve that I didn't believe them because I thought what I did in high school would work in college, but it really does not. You don't understand like how much more like, intense I guess it is in college. So I think if you develop in high school early, then your transition into college with those study habits it'll make your process a whole lot smoother and you'll feel a lot less stress by the time you get into college
Mm-hmm.
because it is a big workload depending on the classes you take. So having those study habits to prep you and then it'll help you a lot in the long term. So yeah.
if I were a student who's struggling right now with study habits, what advice would you give me?
I would just say practice a lot of different ones, like look into it. I know you can go on TikTok and search up study habits, and a lot of people have different ones that you can practice. And I would just say it would be best if you tried as many as you can to see what works for you. That way, it makes it easier for you in the future.
I would say don't feel bad. Don't be so hurtful on yourself that you feel like you're struggling. Even college students and adults who are professionals in their careers, sometimes they don't feel like they understand what is going on either. So you just need to understand that you're learning every day, especially since you're just a high school student. And you have such a great support system of teachers, peers, and friends to work alongside with. So just make sure that you reach out to somebody to ask them to help you out with your studying habits. to clarify on something that you're learning about in class right now, or just to catch up with a friend and study with them so that you guys can both be accountable for what assignments you need to do and study for.
I would say kind of think about think a little bit about your future because I know like kind of look into the long term because coming from someone who's in that position right now, looking back, I wish someone told me that like it's really is serious and like you're not gonna have everything figured out in your life, but starting off strong is a good way to be less stressed about your future. So if you take care of it early on, like right now, and think about your future, kind of just prepare your future self and you thank yourself a lot in the future. It'll be so much more helpful if you start developing these study habits in high school and understanding that what you do in high school can affect what you do in college. So if you have a strong mindset and study habits in high school, you'll be so much more successful in college. And kind of like you're paying for college, so like you're kind of paying for your education. So it's better to like not waste that time or money. So just get started when it's free, at free education, and then once you enter college, you can keep developing on those habits when you have them.
That's all. Good luck.
Now let's see what we have for sports. Mohammed, could you tell us what we need to know?
Hey Cougs, it's me Mohammed, and today I'll be catching up into sports. First with football, they lost to the undefeated Angleton, 59-6. They will play Pasadena this Saturday at 7 p.m. at Pasadena. The Freshmen will play today at 5 p.m. at Pasadena. Now for girls basketball, today they will play at Hastings, and freshmen will play at Elsick. They will also play this Friday against Clemens at Kemper at 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and 1 p.m. Now back to Ziomara and Zachary.
OMG, I love Reese's.
I wonder what our Kemper Cougar's favorite Halloween candy is.
Well, let's find out.
Okay, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
My favorite Halloween candy is Mike and Ike.
Halloween candy. Mini Snickers. Reese's.
Really? Why Reese's?
Because you get two. You can't share them. It's just for yourself. It's chocolate. Okay? Reese's.
So what's your favorite Halloween candy?
My favorite Halloween candy is probably Sour Patch Kids and Twix.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
My favorite Halloween candy is Reese's.
All right, so what's your favorite Halloween candy?
I would have to say that my favorite Halloween candy is a Twix.
Okay, so why Twix though?
I would, first of all, it's chocolate, and I can relate. Okay, and it's gonna have a crunchy cookie type texture to it, but the milk chocolate, so it's almost like a 2-in-1, 2-in-1, 2-in-1. This the Twix dance, the 2-in-1, it's the Twix dance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
The best band in the land is going to state next week. Let's see how they feel.
Against 26 bands, and we placed 5th in a lot of rehearsals after school, 4 times a week, 2 hours after school. When they announced my place now, I was shouting a lot. I stood up because for the first time we actually made state. But we've always been around the top 5, but this is the first time we've made state. Let's go ahead.
Ready for the trivia break, Ziomara?
Yup. It's almost time to sign off, but before we head out, make sure to follow KHS_Press for both Instagram and Twitter for weekly pictures on events.
Also, subscribe to KHS Cougar News on YouTube, where all weekly announcements are posted.
Bye.